Ooh, welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Rob Mello. I pronounced that correctly, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And he played John Toombs in Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You. How you doing, Rob?
It's a mixed bag as always, brother.
Same here. Math is not the way I planned on spending my my Tuesday evening. I can promise you that. I've been helping my fiance.
Oh, quit your bitching. You got to do what you got to do.
Exactly.
This is why we develop drinking habits and shit. So
Exactly. I got my whiskey, my vodka over here, make some dirty martinis, drink my sour apple whiskey.
you
That'll
got
get
a
me through the
bar.
day.
I got like a beer. I got to
So,
go to the store. That reminds me.
so to get started, how did you get your start as an actor?
Professionally,
Yeah,
or just got the bug?
let's do both.
Well, in high school, I was never really. I was like the jock who was a geek, who was a drama guy. I didn't really fit in with any of the cliques and shit.
Mhm.
I was good at most of them. Well, all of them. Fuck that. And we did a we did a play,
Mhm.
and I was to play like a Jackie Mason kind of guy. It was Woody Allen.
Mhm.
Uh, Don't drink the water is what it's called. And I had, you know how you get a script, and like about half of it was mine.
Okay.
And I'm like, fuck, I'm in college prep high school,
Mhm.
fucking, I had a lot of shit to do. I had a lot of shit going on, and
All
I
right.
and I had to memorize like half a novel.
All right.
Anyway, so opening night, I shit the bed.
Oh
It
wow.
was just a scene between me and my wife, who was also my smoke buddy in high school. Uh, shit, 6 foot, 300 pound redhead. You could not miss this woman, and she just so fucking funny. And I had like 2 pages of soliloquy, and totally fucking blanked.
Nice.
She's trying to prompt me, and it's not hitting.
Mhm.
So I mean, I got the fake hair, chest hair coming
Yeah.
out. I got the pinky rings and shit, the slick hair, Jackie Mason. And it was this small choral room, and like there was a chair in front,
Mhm.
and there was an old lady next to it, somebody's grandma, you know.
Yeah.
And so I took a break. I just sat down next to grandma and started fucking flirting with her, like
Nice.
old school, like, you're looking very fetching tonight. Ah, look at your dress. You're so beautiful. Shit like that.
Mhm.
And fucking like I just had this crowd in stitches for 10 minutes.
Nice.
My wife on stage rolling with me, just knitting away, going, he flirts with everybody. Don't even worry about it. And I was like, all right, I got to get back in character. And that's when it clicked. And boom, we finished the scene, and we got out of that fucking scene. And I was like, how the fuck did it? She was like, I don't know, but that was awesome, dude. So that's when I caught the bug.
Nice.
But I just, when I first started professionally, I just, I was working 2 jobs, 6 days a week in Tampa, Florida. And I figured I had one day, where I could do like sign spinner on the side of the road, cash,
Right.
clean gutters, whatever. And I was cruising Craigslist part time, and there was a guy who was looking for like background actors, extras,
Mhm.
actors, any experience, don't worry about it. And I was
Mhm.
like, I've been in plays. I was good
Mhm.
at it. So I emailed him. He asked me for my headshot resume demo reel if I had it, and I was like, I didn't speak the language.
Mhm.
So in my mind, demo reel was like music, and I'm like, I don't have a fucking demo reel, dude. I'd done a little bit of modeling, and
Mhm.
so I was like, I don't really have headshots. And then I sent him my resume, and I'm a cook by trade, so I
Hmm.
sent him my restaurant resume, which of course was not the one he was looking for. So basically, I didn't have shit, and he was like, "All right, dude, just snap a photo with your phone." And this is in the days of flip phones.
Hmm.
And he's like, "You got a phone on your, you got a camera on your phone?" I was like, "Yeah, I just got this brand new fucking flip phone."
Hmm.
He's like, "All right, cool. Just snap me a photo, send it to me, and that way I'll know where to put you." Because he had
Hmm.
it in his mind. Boom, extra.
Hmm.
And I did, and like 5 minutes later, he fucking called me. He was like, "You need to come in and read for me because you got
Wow.
a great fucking look, dude." And it
Nice.
took me about 2.5 years to figure out what that phrase meant.
Yeah.
Great look. But yeah, it went from there, and I know I was one take wonder, dude.
Nice. That's awesome. So, how did you
Fucking
find out
film.
about the film Happy Death Day, and what made you want to audition for it?
Uh, it was an independent film. It was in person with Liz Coulon down in New Orleans,
Hmm.
and she'd cast me in a few things. She's got a good eye,
Hmm.
and it was just a independent horror film. It was just like
Okay.
any other fucking audition.
Nice.
You
Nice.
just don't know what's gonna become of it.
Right.
You know, like it. You're auditioning for Fear the Walking Dead or The Walking Dead. You know what it is.
Yeah.
This is a film. You don't know what it's gonna do.
Right.
So, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. So,
but
did you initially audition for the role of John Toombs?
hmm
Okay.
and that was on a Friday.
Hmm.
Like I said, it was in person. I had a bit of a worry because the audition was, um, I'm in a hospital bed. I jump up, I kill the security guard, and then I go after Tree. And I'm like, I couldn't get it in my head how, because I'm standing up,
Hmm.
so how can I portray, being in a bed? And I talked to my boy, Derek Roberts, fucking great actor.
Hmm.
And he was like, dude, just make like, the back wall, the backdrop is the bed, and then kill dude, and then, do the rest. And I was like, yeah, yeah, perfect. That's what I did, man. And like,
Nice.
I leave every time I'd leave a, physical audition in person, text my agent, tell him how it goes. And I was like, I felt pretty good, actually.
Nice.
Have a great weekend. I got a phone call from Dawn Landrum, my agent, Monday morning.
Hmm.
And she was like, "So you think you did good on that one with Liz?" I was like, and then the self-doubt creeps in
Hmm.
immediately. And oh shit, was my zipper open? You know what I mean? Did I have a
Hmm.
booger? Or, what did I fuck up? And she's like, "No, you're the first one that in, the local casting in New Orleans that they
Hmm.
cast. You can't say
Wow.
anything yet, but they have to cast quite literally everyone else." Uh, and I was like, wow, I just
Hmm.
I jumped off the screen for Chris,
Nice.
and I'm fucking grateful for
It's
that.
awesome. Like, and honestly, because when I hear Happy Death Day and its sequel, Happy Death Day to You, I think, you know, very good movie. I mean, it did really really well for itself.
Yeah,
It's got a really big cult following and everything. Like, I actually honestly didn't even know it was an indie film because I think of it as kind of like Terrifier. Like the first Terrifier, yeah, you knew it was an indie film, but looking at Terrifier 2, you would think it wasn't an indie film because it did really well.
yeah.
So,
Well, it
yeah.
uh it was indie, and like after principal photography, like it was. I think we finished up in May,
Hmm.
something like that. This is New Orleans. It's hot as balls.
Right.
And like I'm on the crapper flipping through like Variety, Hollywood Reporter, and we got picked up by Universal, and I'm like,
Hmm.
yes, that means, residuals. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah. Mail money is great. About a month after that, Bloomhouse announced. And fucking, I was just like, yes. Cause I mean, dude, this is on the tail end of like us and just Bloomhouse was just steady fucking killing it.
Yeah,
And we were next in line, and I was like, fuck, yeah.
it's amazing.
And texted my agent. I was like, Mama, I think this might be the one we were waiting on. You know?
So Blumhouse, they did the second one, right? That's correct.
Mhm.
Yes. So how did you get a call to come back, or like, because obviously you're seeing mostly in, I would say, flashback scenes.
Yeah.
So but I'm assuming they were filmed during the second movie, not the first, obviously. So how did you get I guess how did it come about that you were called back for the second film?
Same casting director. She
Okay.
called my agent. My agent called me and was like, you know, you accept? I was like, yeah, obviously. And she's like, all right, here's your dudes, days in, days out. Uh,
Nice.
here's your dudes, and go to work. You know,
Awesome. Awesome.
it
So
was
how
pretty.
did
It
you
was pretty
what?
straightforward. You know, the first one was not written by Chris Landon. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the second one was,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard rumor of a third. And when I see Jess in a couple of weeks in Orlando, we're gonna have a conversation.
Okay.
Uh, we're going to Spooky Empire,
Nice.
and you wouldn't think she was as badass as she is because I'm 6 feet. She's about like tit high on me,
Mm-hmm.
about half of me wide, and I'm not that goddamn. I might look wide, but I'm not that wide. She's
Mm-hmm.
like this itty bitty thing, gorgeous, super talented, but she's fucking hot as nails, dude. I'm telling you, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah. Also for your role, because your role obviously you were a serial killer, and all that. So how did you prepare for that kind of role? Because obviously you're not a serial killer in real life. So how do you like
No,
get into that mindset of this maniacal maniac kind of guy?
well, it's training.
Okay.
You have to train.
Mm-hmm.
How to put it? There was an instance of Dustin Hoffman
Mm-hmm.
when he was in college, and they were doing kind of like a fight club of
Mm-hmm.
who you'd want to portray.
Mm-hmm.
And Dustin Hoffman is, of course, Jewish,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "I would love to play fucking Hitler." And everybody was taken aback. They were like, "Oh my God, he slaughtered your people. He was a monster. He was a demon. He was the
Mm-hmm.
devil himself." And he was like, "No, he was a fucking man."
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to be able to explore. That's what it is. It's the exploration
Mm-hmm.
of the horrible parts of humanity, especially when you're not a horrible fucking person.
Right.
Which is why the best people, in person
Mm-hmm.
are fucking villains because they nobody's born bad.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, something happened to this guy. And that's the fun part of acting for me anyway, is the prep.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck the performance, man.
Yeah.
That's an afterthought. The prep
Mm-hmm.
is where the fucking money's at,
Yeah.
and something fucked this guy up. So he likes to kill little girls, and he likes to kill anybody that gets in his fucking way.
Yeah.
And he has no moral compass.
Yeah.
So what would cause that kind of shit, And that's where your intellect, research, and training, where
Yeah.
where all that comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
But
funny
yeah,
because I
training.
watch a lot of professional wrestling, and all of the what they call heels, the bad guys,
Yeah,
they're 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 the nicest people you probably could have ever met.
yeah.
And
Oh
it's
yeah.
just it's
Like Danny
amazing.
Trejo. I got a buddy that's a wrestler, Tom Latimer,
Okay.
down in Florida.
That name
Uh,
sounds so familiar.
he's fucking huge, dude. He's a British dude, handsome as fuck. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like he'd make you want to question your sexuality. You know what I mean? He's just a handsome, cool shit with a
Tom
cool ass
Latimer, you
attitude.
said?
Tom Latimer, yeah.
I'm gonna look him up. Was he in the WWE?
I don't think so. He's in one of the Florida
Ah, that's
promotions.
how I know the name. He was married to Charlotte Flair,
Oh, okay.
Ric Flair's
I
daughter.
don't know where that is, but
Yes,
We
I
were in
know
a
who he
film
is.
together, and because of his size,
Hmm.
uh, he was like, the masked murderer,
Right.
and everybody treated him like that. But I actually talked acting with him, and
Mhm.
made suggestions about books, things like that.
Okay.
How to train, and we were up early one morning. Just I was out smoking a cigarette. We were drinking coffee, and we were the only ones up. And he's like, "Man, I gotta tell you, thanks, dude. You're the only one that's treated me like in a professional fucking manner." I'm like,
Hmm.
shit, fuck yeah, dude. You cool as
Nice.
shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
an actor now, dude. You can
Yeah.
add this to your fucking resume, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So, but yeah,
Absolutely.
man, Tom's cool as shit. And I don't know where we're going with that, but
Well, it's funny because yeah, I knew that I heard the name and I'm like, oh, he's married to Ric Flair. Well, they're not married anymore, but he was married to Ric Flair's daughter, Charlotte. I was like,
oh,
oh,
really?
yeah. I was like, oh, that's where I heard the name. He played Bram, I
I'll
believe,
have to
in
look her
TNA.
up. Does she
Yeah,
look like him? Because I'll bet she's pretty.
somewhat, yeah, but a lot of plastic surgery.
Uh, eh,
A lot of facial, like every time she goes away on injury leave, she'll come back like and her face looks totally different. Not making fun, but that's just how it is. Like she comes back, always looks different, like something looks
yeah.
different on her face.
Hey, it's
Unfortunately,
not my body. It's
right?
not my choice.
Exactly, agreed. Completely agree. So what do you think was the hardest part about filming your scenes in Happy Death Day?
It wasn't hard at all. There was a couple of snafus,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, the character itself is. Uh, I was trained in Eric Morris process,
Mm-hmm.
and it's rather psychological,
Mm-hmm.
and so you have to remember as far back as you can into your
Mm-hmm.
life, your own lived experience,
Right.
and so I mean that part isn't hard,
Mm-hmm.
but like dealing with the physicalities, like
Mm-hmm.
when she ran through when I chased her through the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I ran the 110.6. I'm really fucking fast.
Okay.
Even though I'm old, I'm fucking still fast. And they had a dude on a steady cam
Mm-hmm.
in a fucking office chair, and one of the PAs was
Mm-hmm.
pulling him,
Right.
and they were running as fast as they could, trying to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris was like, "Dude, I want you to book. I want you to haul ass." And I was like, "All right, you got it." And I did, and I blew right fucking past him
Wow.
like three, 4 times. And then Chris was like, "All right, dude, slow down a little bit, but make it look like you're hauling ass." I was like, "All right, I got you, man." But like when she sneaks through the door with the
Uh-huh.
chains on it, like
Yeah.
kick it open and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this was an LSU, Louisiana State University. This is an
Okay.
LSU hospital in downtown New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
but it was abandoned.
Oh.
And so, I mean, these are like double door, industrial doors.
Oof.
And, we're laying out the shot. And Chris is like, all right, so she's going to snake through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything, the cameras, everybody's on the other side of the doors. She's going to snake through and run past the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you're going to try to get through, and then you can't. And then you're like, motherfucker. You take a step back, give it a kick, you give it 2 kicks. And when you land back on your heel, freeze. We'll replace the fucking chains with breakaway chains,
Okay.
and then on action, give it another kick. The doors blow open, and you blow past the fucking camera, and catch the bitch. Well, I told him, I was like, I'm a Marine, dude. And he's like, yeah, 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 I know that. I looked you up. I'm not. And I was like, yeah, but I know how to kick fucking doors. He's like, yeah, exactly. I want you to kick the fuck out of this door. And I was like, all right. So I give it one kick. She sneaks through. I give it one kick. I give it 2 kicks. and the fucking entire the doors, the frame went,
Wow.
and there's nothing I can grab. I can't stop it. And I don't know how far away everybody is on the other side.
Hmm.
I don't know if these doors are gonna crush Jess. The fucking Ari Alexas, which are $250,000 a whack. I'm just like, oh, you remember what is it, Christmas Story? The
Yeah.
Oh Fudge?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh
was
yeah.
totally me, dude. I was like, oh fuck. Luckily, nobody was near it. Jess was way the fuck off, and nothing happened. But like, props got their ass chewed throughout that fucking movie because a lot of shit happened, and fucked.
Damn.
That one scared the shit out of me, dude.
Damn. Man.
Man.
Oh boy, that's a crazy story. I love hearing that. Next time I watch Happy Death Day, now I'm gonna be thinking of that.
Oh man, it just whew, the fucking kicking mode, man. I just shit. Yeah, now when you watch it again, after that fucking kick, right before it opens, just picture going, oh fuck.
That's gonna be great. I can't wait now. I'm in the mood to. I won't be watching it tonight because, like I told you before we record, I'm going to bed not long after this is done recording. I work in the morning, but I'm gonna be watching this tomorrow, and I'm gonna
Well,
definitely.
and when I snap Israel's neck, uh,
Mhm,
the original I think was that he would say, me and Israel
mhm,
get into a tussle
yeah.
when he knocks the gun out of my hands. I reveal the mask, all
Mhm.
that shit. Uh, so all right, we have time, of course, right?
Yeah, of course.
So Chris come up to me. I was to chase her to the elevator,
Hmm.
and he was like, "Dude, now you know horror films." I was like, "Relatively, yeah." He's like, the masked killer never reveals. This is your chance to buck that trend. And so I need you to be as fucking creepy as possible. And
Nice.
I was like, all right, I know a way in. I get that. And then Israel is supposed to come down the hallway and yell, hey, I turn, shoot him. And there was a whole different than what you saw. There was a whole different
Hmm.
scenario. And he's like, that's not going to fucking work. It's too close quarters. And I was like, well, he's a skinny college kid, got a baby face, looks like he'd never been in a fucking fist fight in his life. I'm an interstate serial killer that fucking murders cops and then has a sandwich. I should beat his ass. He's like, all right, so what you got in mind? I was like, I don't know, a little, let him tackle me. That's cool. But boom, I'm in charge because he
Mhm.
doesn't know what to do next.
Right.
And then fucking snatch him up, smack him in his fucking mouth. He's out like a fucking light. And what's funny is my ex and I was half asleep, but she was rewatching it. I think it was on Netflix, but she
Mhm.
was rewatching it again, and she just started cackling her ass off. I was like, "What?" Woke me up. I'm like, "What the fuck? What? What?" She's like, "Dude, watch this, watch this, watch this." And she rewound it like, super slow,
Mhm.
like right when I pick his fucking head up to snap his neck.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing it, but I had this big old fucking Kool-Aid shit-eating grin and was just like, love my job, snap.
I
And
love
I'm
it.
like, fucking remember doing that. She's like, dude, that was odd. But anyway, I was like, dude, I can tussle with him, the gun will go flying when he tackles me,
Yeah.
which that makes sense. No, kinda. Uh, but then I take control, and
Nice.
then smack him, snap his neck. She doesn't fucking, she can't fire because she doesn't know how.
Right.
And then the chase. But the reveal, like I'm not a virgin. I'm a dad of a lot of fucking kids. So I've looked at gorgeous women and we've gotten down.
Uh-huh.
And that was the genesis. I was just like, I know what I look like. And so like I fucking bugs. Like I fucked her up and down when, to be
Right.
creepy and shit. And I was just like, the shit I can do to you because that you're in a monologue,
Right.
you know. And you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've been married. I've shaved legs,
Right.
I've painted toenails, I've
Yeah.
so yeah, it's a lot. The process I've learned is very, very personal
Uh-huh.
because that's how, film acting is. It's very small.
Right.
You're not
Yeah.
on a 50-foot stage.
Absolutely. So, for any aspiring actors that are watching this, what advice do you have to give to them on getting their start in the industry?
Depends where you are. One, you can read books wherever you are.
Right.
And so, the one singular fucking book I would highly suggest is called Being and Doing by Eric Morris. It's
Hmm.
basically the layout is the phonics books when we were in like second
Hmm.
grade,
Yeah.
where you could write in answers and shit
Yeah.
like that. Um, there's exercises in it, but it outlines the process that I learned.
Okay.
And there's another one which is has been every director I've spoken to was like, that's the one. It's called No Acting Please.
Hmm.
And that's also by Eric Morris. And that's got a ton of exercises in it,
Hmm.
the rag doll, just to identify where your tension is because uh, when you go in for a audition, especially if it's, for a studio role or something like that, uh, you get fucking tense, you get worried, you get nervous, you get,
Hmm.
the butterflies and shit like that.
Hmm.
Upset stomach, you get the shits. I mean, however your body reacts. But that's just your body reacting to your brain.
Hmm.
And your brain is telling you that there's something at stake here,
Hmm.
you know? And so you need to have a regular practice on how to remedy these nervous attitudes so that you can let your preparation show
Right.
in your performance. You know what I mean?
All right.
Did that
Sounds
answer
good.
your question at all?
Yeah. No, that was great because I mean, if you think about it, books I mean, what do you do when you're in high school or what do you do when you're in elementary school? You read books, you read history books, you read English books, and that's how you get
Mhm.
knowledge of those, subjects. So it's a really good starting point for people that are just getting into the business. I mean, the best thing
Right.
is, like you said, you could read the books anywhere, buy them on Amazon or buy them in a bookstore or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you can
$7.
easily, yeah, you could take them on vacation, you could take them, out into your backyard to lay out, you could take them to cookouts, you read them before bed, like this, you could read them anywhere.
Right. So that's the first step for anybody anywhere, but the next step is to like number one, understand what you're getting into.
Hmm.
Uh, the industry doesn't give a flying fuck about you.
Yep.
It's show business.
Hmm. And it's
So
98%
understand that.
rejection.
So if you've got fucking feelings, you should drop them, leave them at the fucking door.
Yeah.
Uh, next step, get involved with local community theater. Get up with wherever you are. I'm sure there's a major college near you,
Hmm.
and I'm sure there's a drama department. And
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, there's going to be a film school of some kind.
Hmm.
Get on the casting lists, involve yourself, and when student films, are casting, you'll get a notice.
Right.
The good thing about student films is if they don't produce, they don't fucking graduate.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get your footage, which isn't always the case with indie films,
Right. Yeah.
especially if you're a beautiful young lady
Mm-hmm.
uh, with boobs.
Yeah, and I'll
You,
stop you
you're
there
not
for
always
one
going to get
second
it.
and let everybody know what you just said about the student films. I want to let everybody know, if you haven't watched my interview earlier this week with Lydia Manson, do so, because I asked her the same question, and that was her exact answer, was student films. So
Well, I mean,
he is literally saying exactly what Lydia said. So if you're aspiring to be an actor, that is another place to start, is with student films, because as you mentioned, they can't graduate unless they get that film made.
well, if it's their graded film,
Yes.
not
Right.
something that they might be fucking around with,
Right,
or
right.
they're trying to do a short or whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, if this is their final grade project,
Yeah.
you're gonna get your fucking footage.
Yes.
Next, you got to get, if you're not, you got to get tech savvy. You got to
Hmm.
know how to promote yourself. Not quite so much be a hoe, but uh, all right. I'll put it like this: how many plumbers do you know uh, at the end of a successful day of plumbing were like, snap a photo next to a clean shitter and is like, "Fuck yeah, just finished." You know what I mean? No. So yes, but the self-aggrandizement it gets fucking tiresome.
Hmm.
So I would, I mean, live your life, do however you want, but I'm not into that kind of shit. But
Right.
so education, step one. Uh, Step two is internet computer savviness. Always have at least three headshots professionally done,
Hmm.
um, and your resume on the back
Hmm.
stapled in the four corners. Always have it in your car or on your person. Always, 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 always.
Hmm.
Don't waste time or money, most importantly, on fucking business cards, or, you go to these meet and greets and, you get like 10,000 business cards that are going to end up in the fucking trash. You
Yeah.
wasted your fucking money. It's stupid. Let your work speak for itself.
Hmm.
Um, what else?
Student films.
I, I just, I just hit a mental flat tire. That's all. Um, Wasting money on things like IMDb Pro.
Hmm.
All that does for you is show you your ranking, which is nobody gives a fuck about. Quite
Right.
literally, nobody gives a fuck about,
Yep.
unless you're trying to show off,
Right.
which again is fucking useless
Right. The
because,
only reason why I have IMDb Pro is because of my podcast, and it lets me contact, get information of agents.
right, right.
And
But
and
but if
that
you're a
really helps.
performer, right? But if you're a performer,
If you're a
you don't
performer, it
fucking
really
need it.
doesn't matter.
It's an ego boost. It's a nipple
Yep.
tweak. You don't fucking need it. Save your fucking
Right.
money.
Yeah.
Save your money for decent fucking headshots.
That's what I
And
was
in
gonna say.
regards
The
to
money, that
headshots,
money for IMDb Pro, the money for business cards could go to headshots. Yep.
so in regards to headshots, fucking do your research on the individual. Don't go just because it's, oh, that's the fucking going rate here. I had a fella, um, he's got a hell of a following, and he's trying to get into acting, and he's actually fucking listening to me. And so he was, he got some headshots, spent 150 bucks, and was like, no, wait, he spent 300.
Hmm.
That's what it was. It was half. I gotcha. So he dropped like three beans on the set of headshots. He was like, oh, that's the going rate. I was like, get the fuck, I'm not that old. And one, it depends on your market. And again,
Hmm.
get into the colleges. You have young, aspiring, talented photographers
Hmm.
that need portfolio,
Yep.
and people, not birds, pay.
Mm-hmm.
So find those people
Yeah.
and look at their portfolios. And I think 3 outfits and however many photos. I think the last one I took was fuck, that was a hot minute ago. I haven't really changed physically, but I dropped $150. Three
Yeah.
outfits, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And we spent like 4 hours shooting.
Nice. Nice.
But I got all the photos. I got all of the files.
Mm-hmm.
And he did like 3 touch-ups, which
Nice.
touch-ups for me is like going to hair and makeup. They're like, all right, we might dirty you up a little bit, but other than that, you look good. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Nice. When I was in college, not the most recent stint to get my master's, but I was going to get my bachelor's about maybe a decade ago. I haven't really changed that much, especially I look just like the same in the pictures. But
Yeah.
I graduated summa cum laude, and because I was an outstanding student, they wanted to honor me by giving me a photo shoot for the college website, and I get to keep the shots. So I have good headshots and good portfolio shots that I use all the time because I look exactly the same. And I didn't have to pay a dime.
Right. But with theatrical shots,
Yeah.
uh, you can't, you have to present the energy
Yeah.
that you're going to book in.
Yep.
I give off mean motherfucker energy,
Mm-hmm.
even though I'm not, but I
Yep.
look it and I can,
Yep.
you know what I
Yep.
mean?
What I wanted to
But
do
I,
for the
but I
one
can't have
shot,
Chuck E. Cheese, but I can't have Chuck E. Cheese in the background.
right? Exactly. For the one shot, I wanted because I write horror books and that, so I wanted like light and dark, like a contrasting, and I
Yeah.
wanted like a serious pose headshot. It's my number one go-to picture. It is the perfect image that captures dark from this side, but also light from like the book I wrote of my dad, the autobiographical of his battle with brain cancer. So it like
Well, and the contours of
contrasts.
your face as well.
Yes, and it was the perfect shot. And I had like a black background. I'll send it to you when we get off here. Oh my god, it is my go-to image.
Yeah.
But that goes back to saying research your photographer, but also like you said, there's talented photographers at colleges. They need portfolios,
Yeah, they
and
need work.
they need work. And
And
what
they'll
better
they'll do
person?
it stupid cheap. And
Yep,
if take a chance with them. But if you're looking for more established fucking photographers, I mean, just do your fucking research.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
I hate that so many like possibly talented fucking people, particularly like beautiful young women,
hmm,
just take advice from, grandpa's cousin's fucking uncle's roommate who shot a fucking movie in 1985. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, they'll ask me, and I'll be like, oh no, you should do ABCXYZ,
yeah,
uh, because I've seen examples of what's going to happen to you.
yeah,
And then oh no, 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 it's fine, it's fine. Okay. When you state
yeah,
that your fucking ambition is to have your hands and feet outside man's Chinese theater in fucking
hmm,
LA next to Robin fucking Williams, you might want to take this a little bit more fucking serious
yeah,
than whipping your tits out and that's your fucking thing.
yeah.
Because in fucking 30 years, yeah,
Your tits are gonna sag, you know.
so are your balls.
Exactly.
So I'm just like, talent is forever.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
think all the classics, O'Toole, like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
fuck De Niro.
Yeah.
I never respected him as an actor until I got into acting.
Yeah.
I just thought he did the same fucking thing over and over. Like,
Hmm.
uh, I'm not going to say names, but anyway, like a lot of folks.
Yeah.
But like then I started to I understood. Gerald McCraney and I, we were talking about it.
Hmm.
He played Major Dad,
Okay.
and I actually got a neck rub from him. No shit.
Okay. Wow.
And that's a whole nother story. It's not, yeah, it's not kinky or nothing. But anyway, we were just bullshitting, talking about acting and shit. This is the best of me. It was my first big fucking role, so I'm just like absorbing. And
Right.
Mac has that fucking voice.
Hmm.
It's very fucking distinct,
Nice.
and you just shut the fuck up and listen.
Yeah.
And he's describing De Niro. He's like, you don't know the De Niro stare? I was like, well, I mean, I've seen it, but I don't understand the logic. He's like, all right, watch this. Think about it like this. You look at somebody and you lock eyes
Hmm.
for 10 seconds, right? In 10 seconds, this man doesn't move. In the first 3 seconds, like, what's this motherfucker looking at? In the next 3 seconds, you get to self doubt.
Yeah.
I got a booger, is my dick hanging out? What the fuck? Why is this motherfucker staring at me?
Right.
And the next 3 seconds are like, there's an exit here, there's an exit here, there's an exit. Hey, you
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Right.
So it just makes you fucking it. What he said was, you let the audience do the work for you.
Yeah.
So De Niro's stare makes you go, the fuck? Oh shit. What? Oh shit. See ya. With the look. And he didn't even fucking do nothing. He just fucking stared at you.
Right. Oh man.
It's the concept of less is more. That's
Absolutely.
basically it.
Absolutely. And the last question I got for you, do you have anything that you're working on that you would like to promote? Any website, social media, films, anything at all to the listening and viewing audience?
Well, I'm moving away from uh oh shit. My little table's not so stable. Um I'm moving away from like LA kind of,
Mhm.
studio productions, stuff
Okay.
like that. Um More towards indie films. Uh
Mhm.
and I live in Indy. So Indy
Right.
Indy, I squared.
There
And
you go.
for the math geeks out there. Um
I know that was a hit at me.
right. So I locally there's a lot of talent. This is one of the things that
Mhm.
attracted me to Indianapolis. Uh, was well, all right. So when I first started acting, it was in Florida,
Mhm.
right? And this is on the tail ends of like the Glades, shows like that.
Mhm.
And the tax breaks were getting nixed by a certain party, fucking Republicans, and in favor of oil and gas and whatnot. Uh, So all that talent, all that cast, all that
Mhm.
crew fucking bolted, and I was one of them.
Wow.
Um, a lot of them went to LA, New York, Atlanta. I went to New Orleans with a few
Mhm.
others, but that was, you know, the quad.
Mhm.
And now Florida's film is shit. There's
Mhm.
nothing shooting there,
Wow.
you know? And But while I was there, I met so many fucking ridiculously talented. I guarantee about 80% of the class
Mhm.
that I learned my craft in, I guarantee you've seen them in something,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah.
Something like not like, grandpa's backyard volleyball game.
Right.
Uh, Walking Dead,
Yeah.
Under the Dome, shit like that.
Nice.
Um, but I got up here to shoot an indie film and I saw the same potential,
Mhm.
but they were coalescing rather than dispersing.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I'd really love to like help foster that.
Right.
And So I've just gotten in touch with local filmmakers,
Hmm.
and helped them out. And I think at first, without having met me
Hmm.
and worked with me, a lot of them were like hesitant because of my resume and shit
Right.
like that. I can't fucking help that. Uh, but what I can do is bring the things I've learned and
Yeah.
show you.
Absolutely.
And if you want to learn it, I mean, that's on you or not.
Yeah.
It's your career, not mine. But it's my duty to fucking at least impart the knowledge.
Hmm.
And I've got a film. Well, it's a series. It was a short uh, from a fella, Paul Allen. He's local,
Hmm.
and he was a wrestler, amateur wrestler,
Hmm.
big fella, and he's not had the easiest time in life. And he's figured out, that is a creative, and that's a way to express, to release, uh,
Absolutely.
the anger, anxiety, angst, a lot of A's. But anyway, at first he wrote a lot of, cathartic shit for himself.
Hmm.
But he wrote a horror script and he ran it by me, and I was the first one to read it. And I was like, dude, you're fucking on to something.
Nice.
This is nice.
Nice.
There's, of course, with any fucking first draft, there's
Hmm.
this, and this, but it's called Goetia. Well, Goetia, Goetia.
Nice.
And you can Google that.
Okay.
I'm not going to explain shit. But it's, we shot it, and
Hmm.
what we shot was shown to a variety of people, and they were all just like, holy fuck. And now it's a series.
Nice. That's
And it's
awesome.
it's still a bit cathartic for him because he's dealing with theological I got hiccups. He's dealing with theological, issues within himself. I
Right.
was like, I can totally relate, dude. So let me help, and there's a few local filmmakers, of course, my wife.
Hmm. Had
Um,
her on the show. Amazing person.
uh,
I said I had her on the show. She's such an amazing person. Very
ah,
talented.
you should marry her. No, there's no one I'd rather have by my side.
That's awesome.
She's fucking incredible, man.
Yeah.
But let's see, another one, Heidi McCack.
Mhm.
Weird last name, Mikac, or is it Mick? I can't remember. But Heidi McCack, she is a fucking writing dynamo.
Nice.
I've done a few cold reads with her, table reads, just
Hmm.
to see how, the dialogue works, this, and this. And they're both very
Excuse me.
open to fucking feedback, and
Nice.
so those folks are the type of folks that I'm gonna fucking work with, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna bring everything I know to help sharpen their tools. You know,
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Rob, for joining me this evening.
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This was so much fun. I had a blast. I learned a lot about you and a lot about Happy Death Day. And it was just a blast. And I really appreciate it. It's an honor for me.
Well, chill out, get some sleep, and
Absolutely.
I look forward to seeing the episode.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You have a great rest of your night.
Good night, brother. I
All
love you.
right. Good night. Bye.